What is going on, everyone? Hope you guys are all having an amazing Thursday. So this is Ricky with Learn Plan Profit. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So let's go ahead and talk about something. I'm just gonna start doing some technical analysis. I'm gonna wait for everyone to start tuning in. I think we have quite a bit of people that are gonna be in our live stream today. So let's go ahead and just double check. Yo, what's going on, guys? Let's go ahead and change this to live chat. There we go. What's up? What's up? IO down 14%. That's quite a drop. Yeah, I mean, we talked about IO. I think it was 1 or 2 days ago at the resistance of where it was at around $30 based on previous patterns. So I mean, it wasn't a good buy, so it was more of a good sell, anyways, right? And that's definitely a break of pattern. Looks like it pulled back. Didn't have it did not have a good earning. I think it's one of the first earnings that it's had that I've been able to see that did not hit its expectation, right? Had a huge, pretty solid pullback because of it. So this might be something that we might want to follow up with as it recovers and tries to continue that uptrend pattern, right? So I mean, good call out for something that didn't end up hitting its earnings and something that can recover eventually, right? So what I'll do is I'll set my alert when it breaks above 26 so we could catch it more at the uptrend and then follow up with it. So great call out on that. I don't know if you guys were able to check out also Apple, just like we're able to talk about, there's this range from around 165 to 175. It was showing a lot of consolidation, and we talked about this one the day before its earnings, and then it started to show that it was going green. Earnings came out, boom, popped up, ended up covering this entire margin. It was about 6 to 7%, about 6%. But yeah, not bad. I saw a couple of our traders share their profits, and I think a couple of people were swing trading Apple. So not too shabby with that specific position. So let's see. My mic is really quiet. My goodness, you guys always know what's up. What's up? All right, let's double check this. There we go. What are your guys' plans for today? Any exciting new plans for this Thursday or this weekend? Let's see. All right, let's go ahead and I'm going to do just a breakdown and an update on the different stocks that are on my watch list, and then I'm going to go from there. Okay? So, can you guys hear me any better? Thumbs up, yes, no, yes, no. Okay, perfect. All right, sounds good. Let's go ahead and do it. I ended up taking during extended hours a position on USLV. I added another 1,000 shares on USLV due to the pattern that I saw forming. So very quickly, USLV was one that I was or that I'm swing trading. I ended up covering about 2,000 shares yesterday at around $9.90. And it ended up pushing back up, and I'm going to get a little bit closer. Again, the range is from $9.50 to about $11. Really, the range that I want to capitalize on, that I don't want to miss out on, is from $10 to $11, right? That offers about, about 10%, and it was still showing signs of an uptrend pattern. There's still this slight resistance that that is potentially going to be a solid resistance at around 1023. But the thing that I really like that it was doing during extended hours, well, first of all, you can see this push up, right? It made new highs, hit highs of 1017, and when it was pulling back, I saw that it had the potential to bounce at around, well, in reality, I thought that it was going to bounce right around this like middle VWAP area. Ended up pulling back a little bit further, right? And then started to push right back up. So right now, let's see, I think $311 on the day. So not too bad there. But let me go actually and just set my alerts here, just so I can stay up to date with the overall movement of this specific ticker, and to see if there's a break of pattern, and then set an alert if it goes below. There we go. And then also, if you check out /SI during extended hours, it made new highs, and that's when I think it was able to hit the highs of like 1017. It pulled back. It's bouncing at the middle VWAP, and that's what we want to see. We want to see this thing. Do you see this pattern right now? That it's making like lower lows, right? And lower highs as well. As it's approaching the support at the middle VWAP, we want there to be a break of pattern. The MACD indicator is starting to signal signs of a reversal, but now we want to see some consolidation and for it to start now being able to break above, and start making higher highs. So for there to be a reversal here, that's exactly what it is that we want to see. So that's something that I'll have to follow up with, and I'll just set my alert here, single alert, and then at or above. So we'll just set the alerts there, and we can follow up with that, that easily. Also to see if there's a break of pattern right there. Boom, 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 boom. There we go. That's pretty much it. And also DGAS, guys, were you guys able to see this? We talked about it yesterday, that it was showing signs of an uptrend pattern. I found this one to be pretty attractive, right? Although it did have a pullback, it started to show signs of an uptrend, and then it caught yesterday, right? It started to show signs back of an uptrend pattern, and today it was able to make higher highs, and we broke above the SMA. I'm not too sure how well it's going to do to actually be able to hold above the SMA, but it looks like it's doing a pretty good job. I think it does have potential to get pretty close to or near to this $30 resistance based on previous pattern. Why? Right? Why might you ask? Look at natural gas. Natural gas, again, got rejected at this 2.80 price point. That's a previous resistance multiple times, right? Now it's pulling back. Watch out for the potential bounce right here around the SMA. But so one of two things. It's either going to bounce here and then start pushing up, and then that's in favor of UGAS, or it's going to continue to trend down, right? And then that's in favor of DGAS, as that thing will continue to push up if that correlation continues. So just something that you want to take into consideration. So is it going to get rejected, or is it going to confirm the bounce? Something that we might want to keep a very close eye out for, because even with this, right? Let's say you can get in at a price point at around like $28 to about $30. That's not a bad margin, right? About 7.5%. Let's say you're even able to just capitalize 5% of that. Not bad, right? Same thing with the USLV. All right. What if you want to wait for the break above the SMA? Want to be a little bit more conservative, right? From $10.20 to about $11, about 7%. Again, be patient. Wait for your confirmation. It doesn't have to be mine. And just make sure that you focus that you're getting in when you're comfortable. And if you're not comfortable, then you simply don't have to trade it, right? Very simple to think about it in that perspective. I want to give a shout out to all those that were able to take a position on JDST. JDST was showing signs of a bounce yesterday. It had a very green day. Today it's having another very green day as well. /GC is starting to follow. Yesterday, /GC was a little messed up. It was a little different. But you could see why, right? You could see why /GC was oversold, right? Why these gold futures were oversold. You can see that it's at a very low price point. It didn't mean that it had to bounce. It just means that it's at a common or known support area. And because of that, what we can do is I can wait for the overall confirmation for this thing to break above 1320. And then that would be in favor of JNUG, and then that can eventually either make higher highs and stuff like that. So it made sense on why it bounced around this area, again very close to the SMA indicator, and then also looking at the /GC future, you can have a better understanding of if it's overbought or oversold, right, for that specific ticker. Same thing with like the natural gas ticker, and same thing for this ticker as well, /SI. You could have seen that it was at a common support area. Again, that's really what I use it as. Like, I use it as a reference if like I'm getting at a good deal, or if there's any indication that there might be potential resistance. Right now, looking at /SI, we might see a potential resistance right around this SMA line, just like we've seen before, right? It tried to push up, and it did push up, but it really struggled to hold above the SMA indicator. And that's something that I want to take into consideration. If I see it, again, opportunity cost, if I see that it's really struggling to break and hold above $10, then it might not be the best move, right? It might not be the best investment. I might want to wait a little bit longer to wait for a more full-on confirmation. So I'll cover profits and then I'll move on from there. So I think that's pretty much it. We can talk about SQ. No, SQ isn't really. It's trying to recover again with that support at 45 after its earnings had a pretty decent sell-off. It's trying to bounce again at this $45 support, starting to push back up with the resistance right around this SMA indicator. Something to take into consideration if you find that attractive. And Ford is actually one that, as of right now, it's actively trending down, right? So keep that into consideration. But it's been doing a very good job validating and verifying the SMA indicator as a support. Test this out. If you're new to trading and you want to become more comfortable on when it's time to get in for a good buy, follow up with something like Ford. Very slow moving, right? Very easy to understand of like when it is actively trending down, right? When it consolidates, and then when it breaks above and when it starts to show signs of an uptrend. Very easy to determine. So the overall resistance right now should be at around 1150. So what I can do here is I'll extend this. So extend this to the right. That's my resistance, my ideal sell point, right? And my ideal buy point would be the intersection of the candles and when it breaks above the EMA. All right, so we're going to wait for some consolidation and for the break above. So that's just something that we'll have to follow up with. And yeah, I mean, that's really just it. We'll have to follow up with it. And that's why it's in my active watch list. I talked about JNet. We talked about, all right, so drip. Yeah, I mean, looking at drip and looking at Gush, Gush is still doing a lot of consolidation. No signs of a reversal just yet. It is showing signs of a potential curling pattern. Same thing with /CL, but it's not actually trending down. So there's no confirmation in that perspective. So I'm done breaking down the stocks for myself. Feel free to. IO is recovering pretty aggressively then. Do you guys see that? Like that reversal. Wow, that's recovered quite a bit. These dip buys, over 10% already. There it goes. All right. Wow, IO is definitely pushing up. All right, let's see. Brandon, first hour is supposed to be crazy, but USLV is trying to take a nap. Okay, /SI, which is a silver future, just broke above the resistance, and we could see USLV not really picking up though. I mean, it's trying to push up, but don't know how active that is. So I'd like to wait for a little bit more of a solid confirmation. We got Andre saying, thanks for all the help, Ricky. I made my weekly goal in 1 day. That is super cool. Congratulations. Okay, so we got Mr. Chan saying, waiting to get into JNUG because /GC is trending up and JNUG is way overpriced. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, so let's look at /SI real quick. I'm gonna follow up with it. We can see that there is this bounce. Do you see that there's no? Do you see that based on previous patterns? So I want to see this break above this actual price point. Do you see how every time that it would sell off, it would make lower highs, right? Pull back, make lower highs, pull back, and then now that it's bouncing at the middle VWAP, now we want there to be a break of pattern that it actually shows a reversal. So we want to see higher highs. So when it pulls back, pushes up, this is already something different, but now we want to see this thing break above. And once we have this break above, then we can get the confirmation that, hey, yeah, there it goes. So USLV is starting to push up a little bit more aggressively. Let's see how much we're up on the day. Not very much. There it goes. And I'm going to take another buy position real quick. Let's see the limit orders. There we go. All right. So again, this is me averaging up as it confirms the uptrend pattern. That's not, I know not a lot of that's not something that a lot of people do, but I'd rather add to my position as it continues and confirms that uptrend pattern. So okay, we got a confirmation of a purchase. There it goes, pushing up, pulling back. That's so sweet. 2K profit week from Mr. Muhammad. That is so cool. All right, and I'm all for right now. If you guys want to start breaking down some stocks that you guys see valid, I'm all for that. So you guys let me know whatever it is that you guys want to do. This time is yours. So let's do this for like 10, 15 more minutes. And I'm all for breaking down more stocks if that's what you guys want to do. So I think we saw someone call out anyone looking at KEM. I think we talked about KEM yesterday, right? It was on my other laptop. So KEM is trying to push back up. Again, it has this very consistent and horizontal pattern. It definitely has an active uptrend, right? And that's why I have this one in my other watch list in my laptop computer. I think that's where I messed up. So it is pushing up. Great call out. I definitely do see a lot of potential in that. INNT. Well, definitely. So the only thing that I don't like about this one has to do with its volume. After its reverse stock split, it started to see this increase in price, which is great and all, but also it could be like some form of manipulation that is going on, right? It had this huge sell-off. It's been making lower highs. It is trying to bounce at around the SMA, and that's great and all. And I do see why it is trying to bounce. Again, that is a SMA indicator, so it can be trying to validate that. But also, just understand that it's been making lower highs, and that can be very unattractive, right? So just something to take into consideration. There's that risk, and also has its earnings on the 10th. So let's make sure that we take that into consideration and think a little bit more about the actual company and see if it, if it's just momentum or manipulation, or if it's actually showing some signs of actual growth. So thank you again for the call out, Kevin. So again, Jamelia, I did talk about my exit for USLV. My goal is around $11, but obviously if I see any resistance moving up towards that price point, then obviously I would cover profits as well. Wow, Mark Hall, what's going on, Mr. Mark? $900 profit on Diaz. That is so freaking cool. Congrats on that trade. 100% makes sense. It looks like it's definitely trying to bounce around the middle view up. As long as it continues this uptrend pattern, then I think that's what really matters, and that's a great call. You covered profits, feel comfortable. If it breaks below this price point, then obviously there's a break of pattern. You'd want to cover profits then, or if you still want to try to trade it between this range for it to hit like $29 or 30, that's something that you can take into consideration as well. So great call out. ELY, yeah. Okay, this one has pretty low volume, and this is an actual stock. I actually don't like the pattern. It's not very consistent, and the easiest way for me to determine if it's a good buy or not is when it's closer to this SMA indicator, which it's not very close. You can see that it was pretty overextended. It's on a downward pattern. It is trying to consolidate, but I would see more potential for this thing to continue to trend down, and I'd find that to be a much better buy than the price point it's at right now. Again, are you getting a good deal? I don't think so for ELY. Made a quick 4% IO recovery. Thanks for teaching me the beautiful pattern, bro. That is so cool. Congrats. What do you do when when a stock gaps down 10 to 15% after market hours and you have an active position on? Well, Julian, that's the whole point of that's part of swing trading. So if you end up holding something, that's a risk that you end up taking. So I mean, you could stop loss out if you have access to trade at extended hours. There's not really much that you can do in that perspective. You could cut losses or wait for the reversal. It's up to you and see if there's a complete break of pattern. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna have to sneeze. Alrighty. Let's see. 100%. So Marco, I would still start simulation trading. Yeah, it's like one. And I know it might look like I find it to look kind of fun, right? With like the buys and being able to move like the limit orders and stuff like that. Just start paper trading. I know like you might just want to start jumping in to start making money and stuff like that. Please like just know the importance of like paper trading, testing the waters, and making all the mistakes first as much as possible. You're always going to make more mistakes in the future, but just learning the importance of like risk management, consistency, covering profit, understanding patterns, only trading those specific patterns and stuff like that. So Marco saying allergy season, yeah. Damn that sneeze though. You guys are horrible people. Do people say God bless when he sees because he already did? Thank you. I like it. I like it. So we got a call out right here. Oh man, I missed these. Okay, so AA showing signs of a potential reversal very close to the SMA. It makes sense on why it would have bounced here, right? It looks like it's had its first couple of green days up. I would wait for like a break of resistance, and it definitely still has a lot of margin to cover. I think that this could be a great call out, 100%. We could see that it's definitely showing signs of an uptrend pattern. Now let's just wait for a break of resistance. Let's set our alerts for the break above $54 and follow up with it then. I think that's great. Amazing call out. This has to be one of the better call outs for today, as in a completely new stock that I haven't done a technical analysis on. And when that's actively trending up, that makes sense. The patterns are pretty consistent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this thing to my general watch list and go from there. So ticker symbol AA. I thought it was American Airlines at first. All right, there we go. So great call out. Thank you again. www dots. Thank you. What do you look for to show stock when you see resistance? Again, any indicator, any form of just consolidation, that there is no higher highs anymore, stuff like that. Very easy to determine. Wow, Ricky, $2,300 this week using your strategy. Well, and guys, like when you guys thank me for your guys' trades, like I 100% appreciate it. Like I love when you guys tag me in the profit section and thank me like for the course and all that. But I want you guys to know that like, there's also a lot of people that just do ask me a lot of questions and do like trade with me and stuff like that and aren't profitable, right? I need you guys to know that all this hard work that you guys are dedicating, all these learning of patterns and understanding and making sure that you focus on quality trades, that's all your hard work and that's paying off, right? Give me one quick second. Oh man. But yeah, like I've been getting a couple people saying, oh, like kind of like that, like, oh, like your strategy, like John, if it's working for you and it makes sense to you, it's not like a strategy that I came up with or anything like that. It's just like a series of things that have worked well for me, and I'm sure your strategy is not exactly like mine. So if anything, it's like our techniques, right? It's a series of steps that we take, right, or habits that we implement that work well for us, and that's a team thing, right? You do a certain thing in certain ways that work well for you, and then that can lead to your success or can lead to failure, and then you
revisit it like at the end of the week, see what you could have done better, and then you can continue to grow. So I 100% thank you, all of you guys, for always like thanking me for your profits and stuff like that. But I need you guys to understand that not everyone is profitable that I speak to. So obviously you're doing something right, and I need you guys to know that. So and yeah, that's really just it. So thank you again for that. PIR. A strong downward pattern. Yes, I do see. So Pier 1 imports. I do see why there might be a potential reversal, just based on previous patterns on why it can reverse and then try to approach the SMA. 100% makes sense to me. But also you want to take into consideration on this strong downward pattern, is this the best pattern or trade that you can take? And if it is, great. If it's not, then probably not. But you can see also that the MACD indicator is showing signs of a peak formation. So it might even, again, I would wait for either a break around 250, showing that it's making higher highs and that it can recover. As of now, I don't really see that potential. So I don't like the pattern on PIR, especially not right now. There's a lot more potential in a lot of other things. So yeah. UAN. UAN, yeah, we've been following up with this one. It hasn't been reversing. It's been moving very slow. It's actually at the bottom of my general watch list just because the volume is so low. And I don't find that to be too attractive, but the overall pattern is very consistent. Now we just have to wait for the reversal, and I could set my alerts to follow up with this one. But when it breaks at or above, we could follow up with that one. So great call out. You heard me blow my nose? You guys crack me up. Why can't I just like blow my nose or sneeze like a normal Homo sapien and you guys be okay with it? That's actually a little like inside joke. Like me and my roommates call each other like Homo sapiens, which just means like human, right? Or human mammal or whatever it is. But yeah. Wow. Thank you. Congrats, Danny. Super happy to hear that. Nice push up on SI. Yep, I agree. There we go. USLV about to break 1010. So that's pretty attractive. Yep, natural gas reports coming today in about 25 minutes. So just for all those that are holding DGAS, just so really quick. So do you understand this pattern? I feel like this offers, I can break down this pattern real quick. Again, what is it that I'm kind of looking for? Like you guys can see this like raw breakdown. You can see that there was a bounce around this area, a bounce around this area, a bounce around this area, and a rejection around this area. So I'm going to call this a critical point. So I'm going to call this a new support, right? $20. It makes sense, right? And again, you're going to become more familiar with this. Don't overstress it if it doesn't make sense to you. Honestly, I do see a resistance to be at around $23, a pretty conservative resistance, and that's the one that I would have gone with. Obviously, it does have another resistance at around $24, as it's hit multiple times as well. I'm just being conservative. Looking at this, do you understand this pattern? Yes, I understand this horizontal pattern and when it's actively trading up. Great. Do you find this to be, a good potential trade? Is the opportunity cost worth it? Yes, when it's a good deal. The last thing is this a good deal? No, I don't think so. It's approaching $24, which has been a 1, 2, 3, 4 time resistance. Yes, it's actively trading up. Yes, it can go up to $100 for, whoever knows, right? But in reality, this is not a good deal. It's showing that it's overbought. So with that simple breakdown, yes, I like this, the pattern of the specific stock. So that's why I'm going to add it to my watch list. But I don't actually like where it's at right now. I don't find this to be a good deal, right? So because of that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my alert when this thing starts to actively trend down, and then I can revisit this one as it approaches a support for a better buy in my eyes. But you feel free to do whatever it is that you see valid and stuff like that. So, okay, well, I hope that answers your question on that. I'm finding risk management key. I don't understand this question. Where is the live trading and when is it with you, Ricky? I don't get what you mean by that. I mean, this is like the live trading. But yeah, let's see. What's the ticker symbol on Nike again if you want to send that? Oh my God. All types accepted here. You guys are freaking horrible people. Let me just confirm that that was the ticker. Yeah. Strong downward pattern. I just don't find this to be very attractive. There's so much, I think, quality stocks out there that are already trending up, and I just don't think that this one's one. So yeah, it's just not one that I find very attractive, at least as of now. Exactly. Yeah. I'm actually going to be making a video about OCO brackets. If you guys haven't looked into that, I'm going to be making a video for the course group. So you guys on how you guys can utilize OCO brackets, which allow you to get in your entry and exit for a specific position, and it becomes like automated, especially if you're using like the TD Ameritrade platform. Sounds good. I like that, Kenny. I don't know. So yeah, let's see. Strong downward pattern. It also looks like that's very low volume. Yeah, no, I don't find those to be too attractive. It is actively turning down, maybe when it reverses, but yeah, as of now, I don't find that to be too attractive. So what time does the natural report come out? It comes out at 7:30 my time. So in about, what is that? Like 21 minutes. Okay, nice, nice. Ricky, are you still holding USLV? Yeah, you guys saw me take and add more to my position. You guys saw that I had a active position on USLV. Yeah, my position is still there. So approaching a slight resistance right around 1010, but based on the pattern that I see with /SI, it did get slightly rejected, but again, it's these pullbacks. So it's as it staircase down, it pulls back, it tries to recover, pulls back, tries to recover. I think the same thing is happening as it staircases up, pulls back, pushes up, makes higher highs, pulls back, pushes up, makes higher highs, pulls back, and stuff like that. So yeah. Ticker symbol ADR. Very low volume. Oh, this is an index. I was just looking at the candles itself. Yeah, so this is a little bit different. So you would be actually, yeah, and it looks like it's actually getting rejected right now. You can see that this SMA line has been acting as a resistance, so it would be showing signs of a strong downward pattern. I wouldn't find that to be very attractive as of now. Coming in late, what's up? What's good on, Johnny? Of course, Jacqueline. Okay, so NKE. All right, I'm going to do 3 more breakdowns. So NKE is showing a lot of consolidation, showing almost like a peak formation. Do you see this? Like not a lot of potential for like growth. It's showing a very solid resistance at around $70. I think we could all take that into consideration. So resistance at around $70, and usually when it reverses down here at around $66 to maybe $65, that tends to be a better buy. To the resistance at around 70 offers a decent margin, but again, it's showing more of a peak formation, just something that we might want to take into consideration. But again, when is it a good buy? Not here. I think it's showing more of a peak formation right here, and it shows a lot of potential on why it would start to trend down, just like it's done multiple times before, right? So we got Asian. Okay, so AGEN, showing signs of a potential reversal. Definitely it's at a support. It's starting to actively trend up. I would watch out and wait out for the earnings first. Last time that the earnings came out, did not hit its expectation. Did not hit its expectation. They don't act as huge catalyst, but again, there's nothing wrong with just waiting maybe a couple days for it to perform the way that we might expect it to. So I'm pretty sure I have this one in my watch list. Yeah, I already do. So sweet. We'll just have to follow up with this one later, and I'll set a more active alert. You guys can see that I have a couple alerts for this one already. So let's just go ahead and follow up. So good call out. I just want to wait for the earnings. I just don't want to take on that risk. So I already talked about drip. Drip is still actively trending down again. I don't want to swing trade drip until Gush ends up breaking below $30. So if you want to do intraday plays with drip, and you see like an intraday pattern between the middle view up and top view up, I'm all for it. But until then no. I actually already broke down GSUM. So is there a list showing all the inverse stocks? So Colin, there is a resource that you do have available if you go to the announcement section of under the Learn Plan Profit group, and it show you like a list of inverse ETFs, but you still have to do your own research. They don't tell you exactly like, oh, this is the inverse of this or anything like that. So it's still going to dedicate time for you to dedicate, or it's still going to take time for you to dedicate to learn about these series of inverse ETFs. But I'm going to do one more breakdown. And someone that puts it in the right format. Ricky, are you in JNUG? No. I showed you guys. I'm only in one position, and that's USLV. I do see potential in JNUG, but right now I have all my eggs in one basket. Yeah, so silver is influenced by the overall, like if you guys have seen like when there's like huge pullbacks with gold, like silver does like follow as well. Maybe not as aggressively, but it does follow. There's some form of correlation there as well. So I'm not too sure why your messages are getting hidden. So Subrat Dash, I'm not too sure. I do apologize for that. Ah, B McCarthy, I really do apologize for that inconvenience of like your OCO bracket, but um, it's not like the ticker doesn't offer any more potential, right? Let's say USLV pulls back all the way to maybe a price point that you might find it attractive to. Maybe that could be great and in your favor. And also, we have a lot more time to, make money later throughout this year and in the future. So don't stress it. Yeah, it's a missed opportunity, but so much opportunity more in the future. So just don't force it. Keep it consistent and stay conservative. What is the length of your EMA? It's the EMA length is still 15. No, it's okay, Rachel, or Rach. You punk. Oh my goodness, you guys are horrible. It's just, so that's a decent question. Where's USLV? The volume is dying out on USLV. It's starting to fall between the charts. Yeah, it's definitely dying out. You can see signs of a downward pattern trying to bounce around there. But so it's just, it came down to opportunity cost. I saw a lot more potential for USLV to continue to actively trend up. So I decided to cover some profits and then just revisit the idea of getting back in later. And when I did that, I just feel so much more confident with myself, like as a trader, like covering profits and even covering like a majority of it, right? Just having some skin in the game and just knowing that like, yes, it does still have potential to go up and I can always just add more to that position. Yes, I do potentially miss out on some opportunity. Like if you guys notice, like I sold yesterday at $9.90 and it hit highs of $10. And if I think about it, it's like 10 cents that I missed out on per share. And I had about 3,500 shares. So I missed out on $350. But if I think about it like that, then I'm always going to like, feel like I'm missing out and stuff like that. And you can't think about it that way, right? You do, and you cover where it is that you feel comfortable, and you get back in when it is that you feel comfortable, and think about it more in that perspective and not so much in the dollar value, just more on patterns and what would be the smart thing to do when trading patterns. So yeah, just taking your emotions completely out of it and stuff like that. So Ricky, you're the best. Thank you. Good point. I'm totally. Oh no, it's okay. No need to. silly question. What are the Trade Olympics? So it's actually, you might be a little bit new. It's actually a website that we came up with that some of our members, our older members, had access to, about a platform and software that we're partnered up with Mackenzie, who developed a software that allows you to sign in with your Robinhood account and would track your trades and stuff like that. So it's we just wanted to add more, what's it called? Uh, like brokerage options and stuff like that. And TD Ameritrade just went through a merger, so it wasn't the best time for them. But we're waiting to get in contact with like TD Ameritrade, with E-Trade, with Fidelity, and then with Robinhood, and officially have like their API to establish and get everything set up. So everyone can track their trades and compete with one another, and not having to actually input their trades. It's just all automated. So I personally don't use OCO brackets. Like I do this for like work, right? So I'm always behind my phone and my computer, and I tend to cover profits. I'm not. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, and I'm only usually having like one active position, so I could always be back on my phone. The OCO brackets are more for people that have like jobs where they can't actually be on their phone the entire day and stuff like that. So. All right. Let's just do this, and then we could. So we'll finish it up here. Yep, had a pretty decent sell-off because of earnings. Wow. So it might have like that slight like dip buy potential, right? Especially as it starts to try to confirm this uptrend pattern. I would try to see if it starts to. How do you know? Again, I'm going to ask you guys. How do you know when something is actively trending up intraday? I want to hear what you guys have to say. So if I'm trying to buy this, like what is it that I could look out for if I want to buy when it's actively trending up? What is it that, what indicators would I use to get a better understanding of it actively trending up? And what patterns must it be showing or would be attractive? Appreciate that. Thank you, Jeffrey. EMA point up, middle and top view up. Lonnie, you got it. When it trades between the top and middle view up, exactly. 100%. So Brandon, that's a perfect, and I think people should really take that into consideration, as myself. And it says no human rides an uptrend perfectly and sells exactly on the downtrends. You'll never be satisfied if you set your expectations to be there. Just have a percentage goal, every single growth goal every single time. And I think that's what it's all about. Have an understanding of what can happen, but just know that it won't ever happen exactly. And if you have that expectation, then you should be good there. So above middle view up and above EMA, yeah. So when it trades between the middle view up and the top view up, and also when it continues to make higher highs and makes higher lows. Does that make sense? So when it starts to show signs of an upward staircase pattern, so even when it pulls back, it still shows an upward staircase pattern. So, but yeah, so that is pretty much it for today, team. Just wanted to cover very simple breakdowns and a series of stocks that were actively trending up. So again, I'm just gonna go down my watch list and talk about the ones that are showing signs of a potential reversal. So very quickly, with this SQ pattern, $45 support, $52 resistance, or $52 resistance, showing signs of this reversal after the earnings that it had yesterday, trying to show signs of a recovery. Something to take into consideration. We got ticker symbol for it having a sell-off. Again, it has a very common support or known bounce area at around the SMA. It might continue to trend down, but again, just keep this on high alert on when it might start to reverse. I would not take a position now. I would wait for the break, the consolidation, and then the break above the EMA. So right now we got JNEG showing some signs of a resistance right around this price point. Again, one thing that I'm waiting for is for /GC to actually break above 1320 to give me the confirmation that JNEG is going to continue to actively trend up. DRIP is freaking pushing up, my goodness. So again, this made a potential good day trade, right? It's definitely pushing up. It might look like /SI, it might be getting rejected. And yeah, it's showing signs of a downward pattern. DRIP is showing signs of an uptrend pattern. Do I find DRIP to be a good swing trade? Heck no. It's still actively trending down, something that you guys have to be very real with yourself. And again, it's been continuously trending down. So again, don't think that this one time it's going to be you're make it or break it. No, none of that stuff. Just be consistent, understand the pattern, and if you choose to swing trade, then just know a risk that you have is, again, it has a very high probability of continuing to actively trend down. So I would rather cover profits. So then with ticker symbol M, I think that this thing's oversold. overbought. I don't find that to be a good deal, and I'm going to take that out. So the other one that I'm trading is USLV. It's actively trying to push up. There is a slight pullback that's going on right now. And then again, I'm taking into consideration the /SI and this upward pattern that it's still forming. It's looking like it's trying to get rejected by that SMA indicator. I'll follow up with it and just see how that plays out throughout the day. But yeah, just something that you might want to take into consideration for that resistance, right? Same thing with Diaz. It's trying to push up, potential resistance based on previous pattern at around this SMA indicator. Might get rejected, might not. Let's see if it actually can hold above this like 28.20 price point. And then we got Gush trying to push down, and Gush is pushing down pretty aggressively. Again, we have one more dollar to go for this thing to break below $30 to get that confirmation for that potential swing trade for drip. And that is it, guys. There we go. There we go. That's no good for me. Thank you. I appreciate that, Kenny. Thank you. Thank you. I like that. 100%. Jeffrey, and that's, I feel like that's just something that happens like all the time. He asked like, while I'm swing trading something, as it's actively trending up, and let's say like kind of like this, right? As something is like pushing up and then it begins to consolidate, am I ever tempted to cover profits, wait for a pullback, and then buy again? 100%. But sometimes I feel like, again, that I have to believe in the pattern, that I need to know that these pullbacks are going to happen, and that it's not very easy also to always know exactly when it's going to peak out and when it's going to bounce and stuff like that. So you just have to have like faith in, not faith, but like understand the pattern and ask yourself, is the opportunity cost worth it? Like, are you up a certain dollar value where the margin that it still has left to cover is so much greater that, and the pattern is so consistent that you are okay with trading or with holding it. So just something to take into consideration. But that is it for today, team. So we got one last one, and I think it's BTG. And it's showing signs of a downward pattern. Also watch out for the earnings. How do I know that it's showing signs of a downward pattern? Lower highs. And that's something that I find very attractive, and downward trending SMA. So just wanted to share that with you. All right, guys, but that is really just it. I want to thank you guys again for your time and for everything that you guys do. Today is Thursday, the 3rd, if I'm not mistaken, of May. And I hope you guys do something amazing. I hope you guys do something that makes you smile and have fun. Whatever it is that you guys end up wanting to take a position on, just keep it consistent, keep it conservative, and just make sure it's something that you understand. Don't forget that there's nothing wrong with covering profits early, and let's just focus on staying green. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to direct message me. You guys can message me, Justin, or the TechPut Solutions or the LPP team. And yeah, that's really just it. So thank you guys again. Continue working hard, continue following our dreams, let your passion be a judge in your success, and let's make sure we focus on that quality. Hope you guys all have an amazing Thursday, team. Take it easy.